Our next guest has come all the way from the Netherlands. So Mexx, you want to wake your way up? Mexx and I met through Daniel at First Parking, and Daniel's a customer of Specifai. And I think I didn't realise, jump up mate.
We can do it in a bit.
I didn't realise, I suppose, the power of these dashboards until I saw Daniel presenting them to our partners in the US at IPMI. And after that, I said to our team, we need to do something with Specifai. Mexx will take you through all the details around the intelligent dashboards that they've actually built, the predictive and the AI analytics that are coming through in this. As an old operator, Daniel will ring me and say something's going on with the payments because I haven't hit the dashboard yet. But I love the ability to actually see what the month's going to end like at the start of the month, or using the AI predictive tools. And then the ability to bring in all the different parking technologies or business technologies into this platform, budgets, and all the different car parking. If you're an operator and you're doing lots of different parking systems, stuff like that, it's hard to get data in the one place. This is a tool that actually does that. So we've struck up a partnership with Specifai as a reseller. We're importing it into the Ubi Park dashboard as part of our product offering. And Mexx is going to take us through it.
Thank you, Mustang. I think I'll just... All right. Thank you, Mustang, for the introduction. It was quite a flight, 24 hours, but here we are. And today I will be jabbering a bit about data processing and the visualization part of it. The aim is to keep it below 10, 12 minutes of me talking, and then effectively also showing you the tools on the platform itself, and bring it on the big screen. And I think if I press a button, then it'll do something. So for the day, the agenda will be around showing you a quick intro about us, navigating, how would you even navigate the data deluge? And what we mean by that is that there's a lot of data and data silos in place, and from there effectively to create a single source of truth, that is a real challenge. So we'll be talking about that. Well, Martin already gave the partnership between us already, elaborate a bit on that, but I will elaborate a bit more on that as well. Of course, the platform, way of working, and I'll ask one of our loyal and appreciated clients to the stage shortly, together with Martin, and a demo. So in short, effectively, our journey began in 2012, and our team has evolved into a dynamic blend of seasoned parking data and AI specialists combined with parking industry expertise. And we are on a mission together, and the mission that we are on a mission helping parking operators and parking asset owners to breach those data silos and effectively enhance their parking management and increase profit and all net operating income and all those metrics that everybody's looking for. And we're all doing that in regards to basically creating that data-driven approach of decision making, which is something that the power of dashboards are really, they can elaborate that. So effectively, if you look at what sets us apart, it's depicted as 3 intersecting circles, where the sweet spot is in the middle. We got a deep understanding of parking industry expertise, our ability to translate parking data and interpret it into actionable insights, and the seamless integration with all designated and existing parking systems. And we're more than just a business intelligence consultancy team. We're effectively your partner to shoulder, where we breach those data silos together and provide you with those actionable insights. Navigating the data deluge, and what we mean by that is a bit of a mythology, looking at the tip of the iceberg. And by our estimate is that most, if not all, up to 85 to 90% of all parking operators or asset owners are still heavily invested in manually compiling spreadsheets in order to gain an effort of a holistic overview of an understanding about what's happening in their operation. This takes a whole lot of effort, resources, time in order to make that happen. And the three most common things that we see is that there are more systems in place, and that equals effectively that there is also more scattered data. And yeah, that's really something challenging, because imagine you being an operator or an asset owner, having to manage multiple locations and assets with different types of data systems in place. And what I mean by that is, for instance, you got IPP, ski data, and WPS, you got some e-commerce platform, and you got your payroll system as well, and those systems do not communicate with each other. So you need to go separately to all these systems, extract the data, and you start manually compiling those spreadsheets, which is a daunting task, and it provides with a whole lot of headaches along the way, along with some faults, of course. And what we see is that most, if not all, of the parking asset owners or the operators are currently up to the third stage, where they manage to get some basic reporting in place, but it still takes up a lot of time. And as you can see, it's just scratching the surface, and most of the asset owners and parking operators are sitting on a gold mine of data, but they're just scratching the surface, and that's a pity. Why though? Because we sense that there's also like this resource and expertise gap, meaning effectively that what we mean by that is that getting the right people with the right expertise can be challenging, of course. We just had a presentation about recruiting, so it's always a challenge to get the right people at the right time, to say it like that. And yeah, well, that's the gap that's also present. In regards to the partnership that Morten referred to as well, is that what we're effectively going to provide is that client-facing analytics, meaning, and I'll be showing that in shortly, is that they'll improve some customer satisfaction, improve competitiveness during tenders or biddings. We're creating all the amalgamation of all the parking data in one single environment, creating that single source of truth. And if you look at our flow, it's not just that we're not limited by all of these integrations. We got like 150 plus, something like that. But once it reaches our infrastructure, we basically break down the data, we normalize it, we clean it, we structure it, we create it in a type of format so that we can get functionalities on top of that, and we store it into our data warehouse. And from there, we create visualizations tailored to the needs of our stakeholders or users. And like I said, a couple of hundred integrations, an extended data pipeline library, creating that single source of truth. But I do want to emphasize one thing, and that is that the data ownership lies not with us, it lies with our clients. We do not own anything in regards to the data is of our client. The way of working, a couple of steps that we take together with our clients. Effectively, this is a guideline and structured way of working that enables us to understand the stakeholder needs and, oh, my lip is twitching a bit. Data collection and interpretation. And this helps us sets up a parking expert guideline that sets up for the to create tailored insights for our clients. That's effectively what the way of working does. And I think what I would like to do is just show you guys some things, but I think that's also pretty cool. So Hamish. So the platform is web-based, meaning that it can be accessible via any browser, device, tablet, phone, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And we create tailored insights on top of that. So what you're currently looking at is our KPI dashboard. The KPI dashboard is an enabler to basically create an overview of the different data sources, the revenue, different types of locations. And the cool part is that it's completely intuitive and interactive, meaning if you click on anything, it recalibrates on the spot. The data is present at any time. So for instance, I just want to select January 26th. I just selected the evening, and it shows you directly what's happening under the hood at your specific location or facility. There are controls in place from and to, meaning you can set different dates, different types of variables, and filters to your liking. And for the parking behavior, we can basically show like what are peak times, what are off times, where lies opportunities, how could you increase certain parking product fits at certain facilities. And once again, it's fully clickable, interactive. So for instance, I'm clicking on 8 a.m. in the morning as per an entry of the day. Let's just select Fridays for the sakes of it. And as you can see, usually people are staying on an average of 8 hours, and there were 489 entries during this selection period. And you can drill this down per location, per product, per user type, per any type of filtering you're looking for. And for revenue, it shows you extensive reporting capabilities with, of course, possibilities for PDF exporting or scheduled reports that will be sent to you via the email or any other type of communication channel that you're using. It's all the same for us, but we're very capable of, for instance, integrating with third parties where we can push notification and triggers as well. And again, it's fully interactive. It shows you revenue sources such as payment methods, shows you trends compared to the amount of transactions that have occurred. And once we got the historical data in place, we are also capable of providing predictions because with the historical data, we're able to, for instance, forecast also for the occupancy and the potential revenue that you would be looking for. And I think that for a glance and a first touch on data hopefully gives a broader understanding about the power of dashboards. And this is tailored for client-facing. So currently, this is what a client-facing reporting would look like. And then together with the client, we tailor it to his or her specific needs. So that's for dashboards. But instead of me talking, I would like to ask Daniel.
Just for me, mate, have you got the ability to split by product on here? I think that's probably important for some of the people as well in the audience.
Yeah, that's possible. So nowadays, because this is demoed, you don't see the products in it, but I can also try to find if I have a dashboard that shows products. So we would also be able to
Why you find that? Obviously, white labelled for our customers as well. So it can be branded out directly for you guys. Obviously configured specifically for your requirements. So if you're doing board reports or anything that's to go up to management, you can tailor it so they can see that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't find a dashboard that shows the breakdown of the product in a...
Just show Daniel's.
No, I can't do that. I don't even have the rights for it. But just for the glance, this can be completely tailored like Morten says and fully break down possibilities per product type. But I'm very curious to hear from Daniel, because he's been using it for the past, since 2021, I checked it. and effectively he's one of our earliest and longest clients. And could you elaborate a bit on?
We're grabbing a seat.
Max here. You want to ask a couple of questions?
I was curious, Daniel, in understanding like how you've been using it since 2021. Could you elaborate a bit what it has done for you so far?
For us, it's probably changed the way we look at parking. So being a new operator starting only in 2020, for me it was more about not having staff sitting in the background. We all hate HR in a roundabout sort of way. So having more staff on doing bits and pieces, if they don't rock up one day, well then you're not going to get the data in. If something doesn't happen, the issue with having people inputting data, mistakes and throughout it. So for me, it was more around getting the data inputted directly through APIs from our system. So from Ubi Park, from my IPP systems, from Xero, we get direct inputs and all through our control room. So having all that data in one source of truth was able to give me the comfort, I would say, to sit at home at 1 a.m. in the morning when I couldn't sleep, going through stuff from what actually happened that day, and then being able to make executive decisions and being able to be agile in our approach to parking operations on what we needed to do. It was probably more around our peaks and troughs. With parking, especially in operations for a commercial aspect, we want to maximise our revenue to the best we can. And knowing when my peaks and troughs are as well, then we can then work out, well, what offers we can give to the market at different times of the day when we're actually empty or quiet, and be able to do different bits and pieces. So rather than having your peaks and troughs of in the car park, having that stable line of always having cars in the car park, really trying to be able to produce it. But then also having the understanding of the system to be able to say to the landlord side, which you didn't probably touch on, is I've got this all for me, but then I actually provide login details for all my landlords so they can actually track how we're going as well. So what that means is if you're an operator or a council or providing it to other people as well, so they can see live how your data's going. When you've got KPIs that you've got to reach and bits and pieces for my board reporting and stuff that I can pull out straight away or even get it API'd straight into my board packs, makes it a lot simpler and easier for me that I'm not then trying to get somebody else to find that data, get it, input it, make sure it's correct, and then going back through. The data's coming straight in from a single source of truth from the start.
Thank you. And also a thing that I'm curious in is about the, because now it's all fully automated. Would you happen to have an idea about, for instance, if it wasn't automated, how many resources or FTEs or anything in that sort would you had put in to make this work?
I'll go back to a previous life before I started my business, but in a previous life, we were having anywhere between 3 to 4 FTEs just data inputting this, pulling it out of one park's equipment or trying to input it into another one, putting it into a spreadsheet, then trying to put that then into another spreadsheet from that side of it. So for me, it was more around not just the cost benefits from having staff, because it's hard to implement this from a stage sometimes when you are so big and how you do that. But what we've been able to look at is rather than spending the money and the staff doing the data entry, is looking at them actually, how do they improve our business? So it's not that we're getting rid of those staff, we've still got those staff, but we're using them better from that side of it.
So a better allocation of your resources.
100%.
Yeah, makes total sense. Another question that I would like to touch on is the client-facing part, effectively, like you said, towards the landlords. In what effectively do you see that they are also like receptible in receiving those reports? Is it?
I think the new age was what's showing us. It's all about everybody wants the data. Everyone wants to understand what's going on from a landlord through to different clients. They want to understand, yes, it's our business, but they also just want to know what's happening, what's going on. So for be able to give them, rather than giving them a monthly report, which comes out 6 weeks after the fact, so that you're actually reporting on old data, for them to be able to then try and do things and help you as a business, is giving them the access to the dashboard, from my point of view, is actually then showing them how we can partner with our clients and our landlords and say, hey, this is where we've got issues or problems or capacity. What can you do to help us through tenants and marketing, or how do we work with your tenants to be able to shift some of their change in work ethics? So one of the big things we did with one of the governments that we work with was the peaks and troughs on, like as we probably all know, is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are our busiest days. Mondays and Fridays were slow because people don't want to come to work on Mondays and Fridays. We were able to show this data to the government and go, guys, you guys can't get a car park on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, but Mondays and Fridays are quieter. So that actually changed their perspective on parking and going, well, we can actually then move and change our rosters to suit our business needs. So rather than me saying I can't take a car on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday and miss out on revenue, now they're coming in on Mondays and Fridays, and that's what I was talking about, that flat line approach as well. So them having that data actually helps us as operators and doesn't put us under that as much pressure through the peaks and troughs.
Thank you. Those were my questions so far.
Woohoo!
I think just to add to, Daniel's got a reasonably clean operation with a couple of solutions going in there, but where we're getting asked a lot, where this really sort of fits a purpose for our customers is, an operator might have 8 or 9 different parking systems, and they might have parking guidance systems, they might have pay and display machines, and to get all that data into one source. The big customers, I'm sure, Michelle, you've got some stuff at the airport already doing a lot of this sort of stuff, but a lot of our smaller customers or mid-tier customers haven't got the resources or the cost to do that. And there's a lot of value in the integrations. I'm sure the asset owners in the room and parking operators in the room dealing with some of our European equipment suppliers and the suppliers of technology. It's sometimes hard to get that integration, or costly to get that integration. The integrations that are actually done, I think, shows massive value into what Mexx and the Specifai team have been able to do with 100-odd integrations in there. So there's some real value in that and getting it in, and it's a pure SaaS price. So it's based on how many locations and how many integrations you've got, and it's a SaaS number that you pay monthly. So it's very cost effective to get this data in and have that visibility. The other thing I think Gary and I hate is when
Not me.
Daniel will ring us and he's telling us about the data. Might be something wrong with the IPP integration with UbiPark. Passing some of the data through, it might be stuck in a job. So Gary and I will get together and we'll fix it. Or Will or Mike or Gaz are smart people fix it.
Something?
Yeah. I'm an unblocker, mate. What they call me. But Daniel will actually ring us and say some of those transactions haven't got to my dashboard. What's going on? Before, and he's got that visibility on his mobile phone, which does my head in sometimes. But it's great to have that visibility and be able to run your business like that.
Yeah, I just think it's the way we're heading. Like, we're trying to get away, and I think we're all in the same, and that's the reason why we're here today. We're all seeing what can we do easier, smarter, faster. And how we look at doing that is, and the way that I've set up my business and what I want to be, I want to work less but get maximum output. And I'm sure all of us in the room would probably say the same thing. But to be able to have the systems and to be able to do that, and some of the integrations weren't easy and they take time depending on the suppliers. We're still going through 1 or 2 now, and it's getting those suppliers on side and understanding it. But it's also too the cost of that integration to do it. For me, having that data live and in one space is so much easier to actually run my business successfully. So to be able to like, Mexx has only went through a little bit about on the click downs and bits and pieces as well, and that's just one site. But I've got 18 sites, so I can see, as Mostyn said, if I see revenue that hasn't come through at 12:01 a.m., like I think I did it last night, I was online having a quick look, and all of a sudden there's some revenue that hasn't come through. You've got to wait a little bit, then it's there. But it's understanding then, well, where is it? What's missing? Why was that numbers down today? I can see the cars are in there, but the payments haven't come through. Or the cars have come through, the payments come through, but my cars are there. So it's just understanding the flow of that data coming through into the system. But having it now for today, you can make real decisions for tomorrow rather than trying to make, like I know, as I said, past life, we were making decisions on 3 to 6 month old data for the future. Now, it's a hard way to do it. It's definitely not economical, but also it just means that we can be at the forefront and be a lot more agile in how we actually run our businesses.
Thank you.
Is there any questions for Mexx? Patrick?
Yeah, so what's the use case for like machine learning? Is it mainly around forecasting?
It's mainly around forecasting, and then we are able to forecast some occupancies. And by utilizing also the custom integration or public data sources, for instance, weather, seasonality, events, tickets, those kind of data sources as well, we're able to enrich basically the historical data set, and together with our machine learning algorithms, we're able to provide a pretty accurate forecasting module. And once you are able to forecast an occupancy, then of course, considering your pricing strategy that you have incorporated as an asset owner or an operator, we can deduct that or extrapolate that towards the potential revenue that you might have in the forecasted period, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Are we able to see like the high-level logic behind the machine learning, like how the calculation is done, or to what granularity that we can see that?
From a user's perspective, to keeping things simple, that's below the service effectively, but we're able to fully open and show that that's for us not a problem at all. We are an open infrastructure, meaning that we are able to take our clients by the hand and show effectively how our machine learnings are built up. That's possible.
So what that does for me is gives me forecasting for 3, 6, 12 months as well. So what I can do is I can change pricing in the forecast system, and I can work out where my peaks and troughs are going to be depending on the supply and demand of our occupancy that we've been able to produce.
Naru?
Yeah. Is the end user be able to like make customization for dashboards and stuff, or will they have to come to you to make those changes?
Mainly, we are in charge of creating and tailoring the dashboards because we want to make sure that the quality of the output is validated, to say it like that, because you're going to make decisions based on the factual data, meaning that we want to make sure that it's validated and right. But there are clients of ours that have extensive knowledge of BI, and therefore we provided them with some admin rights so that they can basically drag and drop and create their own dashboarding as well. So it is possible. But we want to effectively, for the less mature clients, we would like to be in the lead for that, to make sure that's good.
Yes, Liv?
For your data sets, how long do you sort of have as sort of saying 12 months of data is sort of stable to look at your forecasting? Can that be shorter? Do you prefer longer to have sort of that really robust, stable set to start with, but then also to have really good predictions and stable forecasting?
The more the better. That's the short answer. But it is possible from 10 months, it's possible to start making pretty accurate predictions, but we prefer at least 1.5 years. That's like where we feel more comfortable at the predicted accuracy levels. Yeah, that's better.
We've even seen it on even 6 months data. We're getting down to, at the end of the month, we might be a couple of $1,000s out on $5 million a month. So from that prediction model. And that's only based on 6 months worth of data.
Any other questions? Wilbur?
I've got one for Daniel. There's a lot of data there. How do you avoid being overwhelmed by it all and then use it to make a useful decision? And I guess, secondly, have you got an example of a useful decision that you've been able to make off that data?
It's a set-up question. You guys talked earlier.
If my team was here, only Pete's here, so my team would say that they hate the fact that I've got the data, just like Mostert and Gary, because I probably ask more questions than what I probably should. But having that data does twofold. It takes you down rabbit holes, but what it also allows me to do is understand what data is useful and what data is white noise. And so understanding that, and it's probably taken me 12 months to understand what is the white noise and what is the actual enriched data, to be able to then use that moving forward. And the way that I've probably been able to use that data is just in our day-to-day business. So for us to be able to forecast and do it, it's having the agility in our business to change rates overnight. So we're set up in a way that I can change my rates right now, have it all set up for tomorrow through all our systems. But because I've got the data right there on the past day, week, month, we can see, well, we've been full every single day. Well, we need to do a price increase. What impact will that do? How much drop-off will I had dependent on the last increase that I put through the system, and then see how that will actually fit for us. So we use it daily, and all my management team would use it. I don't know the actual login details. Actually, that's probably some data I could use. See who actually uses it.
I can check it out.
But using it, we'd use it 3 times a week, and it's our weekly managers meeting. That's what we go through, because it is the live data. So if there is any discrepancies or any questions in it, we actually then dive down into it while we're there, so the whole management team can understand where that sits.
I can definitely agree with Pete and Rob, who hate it, because you'll be overseas doing something, you'll grab something on the phone, and next minute you're ringing Rob to go, what the hell's going on in this location? You know, get on it type stuff.
That's only because I had COVID and I had nothing else to do.
Yeah, there were your emails. I know we hated that as well. Any last questions for Mexx? Mexx is going to be in Australia for a few weeks. So we're setting up demos. So he's in Melbourne till the 23rd,
Yep.
and then he's back in Melbourne for the Parking Australia event that's being held in the city. Anyone wants to reach out and have a proper demo, go through it and understand it a little bit further, just get in touch with us and we'll tee up a time to come and see you. Anyone from Brisbane, we'll be in Brisbane
24th?
24th.
28th?
Yeah,
there we go.
so we'll be doing a little bit of a tour of Brisbane as well, for anyone that wants to see what's going on. We'd love to come in and chat to you and take you through the tool. It'd be good to get us some feedback as well. Thanks, Daniel, Mexx.
Thanks, guys.
I think we're going to break now for 15 minutes, and then we're into the last session.